Hello all, welcome to the Transcend Trails. First time we've ever done this, live overview of the course, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to do my best to sort of give you some insight to what Transcend entails and try and give you guys some things to sort of keep an eye out for on the course and maybe a few little things you can work on in the lead up. We're here in the Tribe and Trail shop down at Leaderville. Wayne's been kind enough to let us in, and we've got a bit of a crew here. If you've got questions, please chuck them in the chat. We'll do our best to monitor that, and we also might get some questions from the people here. It's a little bit dark because we're trying to make a projector work so everyone can see what's going on also that are here. All right, so we are going to go share some screens. So we're heading straight into the Transcend Trails website, and this is like going to be your best resource to find out more and more about Transcend. You do have to dig through a number of the tabs, but trust me, pretty much every question you can think of, the answer is there, but also feel free to send us out an email. So on actual race day, this race center section of the website, top left, will have a lot of the details that sort of like your support crew are going to want to know on the day. So we tend to keep in here a nice map for them so they can check this out. We have generally our link to our broadcast. This will be updated with the 2025 version. They'll have access to a map that has all our GPS tracker links on there. So they can watch your dot move through the Avon Valley, no matter what distance you are. The only distance that doesn't have trackers is the 6 kilometer. But yeah, we go all out issuing one to the teams, to every single solo for the 28K, 40K, and the 65K at a great cost. But we love that everyone can sort of stay connected. And then we also have just the splits from everyone going through certain checkpoints on the race. So there's like sections here where they'll be able to check out your results and stuff like that. But what we're here for today is actually everything that's going to be pretty much under this tab, the event. We just released our event program. Make sure you jump on there, have a good read. That is very detailed. It's got some great information for you guys. It's very easy to sort of flick through. Yeah, so don't let me ramble on about it. Make sure you have a good read through there. But just below that, we've got the 65 kilometer course. It probably could be worded better to just the courses because the 65K course actually covers basically start from the long. We're going to go right out from you log into this. Now, you won't be able to see a couple of the control features that I'm using because my face in the video is on the bottom right, and that's where a lot of these features are. But basically, I've just clicked that and made that go full screen. There's also an option to click on it and make it go 3D, which gives you a bit of depth perspective to the climbs. Now, Perth doesn't have crazy mountains, but we do have anthills that you're going to have to climb up and go down repetitively. And it's a bit like death by cuts because they add up after a while, okay? Yeah, so what we're going to look at now, the very start here. So this map nicely glides in to our start line for the 65 kilometer. So this is taking place at Wyanga National Park, which is the very, very bottom of that road there is the Boongerup Pool. And we'll have some epic lights featuring there. You won't be able to miss us. You won't be able to not hear us because there'll be some serious beats coming out. And it's going to set a really cool vibe to get those nerves all underway before you take on the big dance of the 65K. Now, this location does have a heap of toilets. YouTube's just black. YouTube's black. Okay. Sorry, guys. Apparently, we've just got a black screen. So we're just going to have a quick look at that. Give me 2 seconds. We did test this earlier today and it worked fine. So not sure why that would be playing up. Can you see that on yours, Wayno?
It hasn't switched screens yet. It's still just you. That's gone to the black screen again.
Back to a black screen. We gotta love tech. Sorry, team. What can we do here? Wow, that is not what we want. Okay.
You're on this 18. You're on the bottom right hand screen now. No, you're off the screen.
No, sorry everybody. This is quite frustrating. Bear with me. Just flip that across again. No, it's gone black.
So maybe you'll see a tiny version of that rather than on the YouTube. Because if you, without sharing, if you just do that, right, I think they can see it behind you.
Yeah. If you angle it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Okay.
Start it in a window instead of just in the tab.
Sorry. Okay, this will work here. Unfortunately, guys, it's not going to be quite the quality that we were hoping for, but I will be able to show you guys exactly where all the footage is. So we'll just quickly rehash on that. So at the top of the website, you will see a tab called the event. If you're at home, you can just sort of follow along with this and hopefully you can get a much cleaner version of what I'm presenting. But on the second tab down, we have the 65K course. And then we're scrolling down. You can just accept those few little pop-ups, and then you're going to hit the all screen, which is the Terranaut map. Now, this map's pretty cool in the sense where it just runs you through the courses, which is all the courses. So as I was just explaining, if you click the down arrow, it's going to take you to the start line, which is Boongarra Pool in Wallangup National Park. So the 65K start is at 6 a.m. and the actual buses and all that should get there about 45 minutes prior, giving you guys enough time to go to the toilet and do what you need to do before we actually kick off. Then, yeah, there's going to be heaps of lights, heaps of music. We're going to kick it off, and then 6 a.m. everyone takes off. It will be a bit dark, so everyone's going to have their headlamps on, which is pretty cool little spectacle following all the lights up the scarp. But it kicks off, and it's a pretty flowy trail early on for about the first 900 meters until you get to the backup car park. So just remember, if you do go to the other car park, you're not at the start line. You still need to make your way to the actual start line. So we'll run past that car park, and then it starts to get a little bit more technical. So I'll just drag that across here. So this section that runs close to the river just before it kicks up the hill is a little bit rocky, but you guys will be fine. You'll be fresh. You'll be dancing over those rocks. Now we're going to kick right here, and this is quite a decent little climb. So this is the first ascent, the Jumbuck ascent. And if you're watching on this Terranaut maps, there's little video clips that have the little first ascent there. Hit play. It'll give you a nice little detailed rundown on what to exactly expect there, give you some stats and whatnot, and hopefully improve your confidence about that area if you haven't had the chance to get out and course. So then you're going to basically cruise up that hill. Hopefully you can get a little jog in here and there, but I suggest probably most of it's going to be power hiking. And then you follow that all the way across up on top here. Now, the top bit's pretty cool because you get up to the top and by then it'll be starting to become daylight, and you'll be able to have a nice view of the city off to your right, and off to the left you're going to be looking over the Avon River or the Goglager, and yeah, it's a beautiful sight. Don't forget to look back at the top of that hill and check out the awesome view behind you. That is probably one of my favorite views along the course. So as you crest the top there, just remember to look over your shoulder and check out the views here. So you've now done the sort of the ridge line along the top, and then we kick left and you come down what we call the Jumbuck Descent. So Jumbuck, or also known as Mount Membup. You come down there, and this is a bit of a techie mountain bike trail. So you're going to have to just sort of take your time through there. If you're a nice confidence, sort of bomb it down there and maybe put a bit of a gap on those less experienced runners. Definitely take your time if you haven't. If it's wet, it could be a little bit slippery. You get all the way back down to the river, okay, and then you kick to your right and you're following a section along the river here, which again has rocks and stuff like that, so you do need to keep your eyes open and be prepared to move your feet quickly. There's a wicked little video on this little section called the Travelator, so check that out as well. Mitch gives a nice little rundown for us on that. Okay, so a very well-known region of Perth is Bells Rapids. This is a very cool section, heaps of rocks, fast-flowing water, providing we get some more rain between now and then. It actually isn't flowing that crazy at the moment. Do also keep in mind that the bridge at present is under works. We've been reassured that the bridge will be in working order and up for the task of getting you guys across come race day. So yeah, you go across there. You're roughly 8 k's in by this stage, so you've hopefully broken a bit of a sweat by now, and then you're going to go across into a bit of an open car park area there. So you actually go through that top car park. It can be a bit slippery. It's like got a bit of a clay base to it, but I'm sure you'll find your way and hopefully stay upright. Now we find our way to pass through the rail here. We have a culvert or a big tunnel. It's a part of the Orlov Trail that passes underneath the rail. This is the only time you cross the rail in the whole race. Okay, so this is the only section we have permission to go underneath and pass there. At no point of the race you should be crossing a rail, and ARC infrastructure are very strict on that. Okay, so please abide by that. We don't want to sort of threaten the race in future years. Now, after that, there's quite a deceptive little incline there that kicks up, and yeah, you'll probably have to power hike some of that, and then it basically crests over another little rise, and then you take a zigzag trail down towards the ARC road. You actually don't quite step on the ARC road. We just stay to the right of it. We just try to respect ARC infrastructure's resources and stay disconnected from their paths. Then you come through a very cool section. I really love leg one. It's got heaps of highlights. So this is Bells Falls, and there's actually a lot of people in Perth who are just completely unaware of this little zone and its existence. So hopefully we'll have some water flowing and it gets a little waterfall happening, which is pretty cool. And there's also at the top like a swing that you can jump on and have a moment and enjoy the serenity and reflect on the first sort of tough 9Ks that you've already done. Straight after that little moment of getting your breath back there, you are going to go up a rather steep incline. That is definitely power hike territory. Even the top runners will not run this section. And it's sort of like short bush around your ankles. But just keep an eye out for the pink flagging tape. We have plenty of it out there. Plus we have signage. So hopefully we'll keep you well and truly on track. Then you're going to come up along sort of the top there. There is a fence there with a bit of barbed wire, but you do not cross that. You keep going all the way up and it's quite nice. You follow a little creek here. There's like a little bit of single track. Hopefully there'll be a bit of water flowing for you guys, and then a bit of a rocky outcrop that you crest over. You may get your feet a little bit damp right at the top just before you cross this bush line. But often you can sort of rock hop, or there's a big log there or something like that you can jump across. Then we start going a little bit up, and this year we have changed the route here a little bit. So people who've done the Transcend previously will be now thinking, okay, beautiful, I've got out of the technical stuff, I'm about to go and run on some fire trail that's less technical and more predictable. But think again, we've changed it to just keep you guys on your toes. So you're going to stick below that gravel road, and we're actually working on this trail a bit this weekend just to make it a bit cleaner. Come down and join us on Sunday at 11 a.m. if you can. The cleaner we make this trail now, the better your experience come the 16th of August will be. So yes, we're going to just cruise along a ridge here, and what's really nice now is when you get around the middle of the screen here now, and if you look to your left when you're doing this, you get a beautiful view over Bell's Rapids, and the place to have a photographer there and get a pretty cool shot. So then you're going to flow across here. I guess I use flow loosely, maybe take your time and navigate the terrain. But yeah, it's a lot more sort of single trail now, and it's pretty cool though. You get a lot better views from this particular trail, and you keep following this all the way across to another new point here where you kick right and then start heading back up towards Aid 1. Okay, so Aid 1 is Avon Ridge Estate. It's along Rolling Hills Drive. We have this aid station set up for about, I think it's about 2.5 hours, which will see everyone through. Hopefully that's plenty of time to get everybody there and out. These aid stations, even though they're only short, are still reasonably well equipped with everything you could possibly need to fuel yourself up and get to the next station. So from there, you get to that station, and then you're going to start to cruise down. Again, it dips into a bit of single track along a creek. Last year, this was surprisingly slippery. Just year before it wasn't, but last year it was. I think it was just we had quite heavy rain at the start, so it just made that territory a bit more moist. And once you get through this corner, that slipperiness will definitely fade away, and you'll be able to sort of find your ground, and it sort of flattens out a little bit here, and then you can start cruising across. Again, it is single track, but this stuff is pretty runnable. And you come across, and you have a really nice view off to your left here or back to the start line. So you'll be able to see where you took off from. And by this stage, you'll be about 14, 15 Ks into the event. Now we're going to kick right here, and you get to start going up some actual fire trail. So you'll probably be glad that's, like I said before, a bit more predictable. Then you've got a peak downhill. It is a little bit rocky in nature, but you follow this all the way down for quite a bit. What goes down must come back up again. So you will eventually have to reclaim that vertical ascent. You get to go along the flat here, and then, as I said, you kick right, okay? And this is where I think the clay begins, okay? So we talk about the mudslide. This isn't the mudslide. This is maybe the mud ascent, but sometimes it's perfectly fine. It's dry. You won't really have any issues. I was out there the other day, and it was perfectly firm and no dramas. But, you know, I think it's just pure timing of rain. Sometimes it can be incredibly slippery, and you might actually get a fair build-up of clay on your shoes. So when people are thinking, oh my God, I don't want to go through like waterways and stuff like that, you can actually use the waterways to your advantage, because pretty much as soon as you hit a puddle, the clay all comes off, and then you're running light again. So I sort of look at waterways as a bit of a win, okay, rather than a disadvantage. Oops, sorry, I've double clicked it. So we've already talked about Avon. We're going to hit up the mudslide now. So this is the other side of that hill. So basically we zigzag down there. Again, there's a bit of a video clip there to give you probably an idea of worst case scenario. So that might be well worth a watch for some. And then you simply follow this along, and we drop down to the Wooroloo Brook. Wooroloo Brook's really nice when it's flowing, and you're going to just follow that along until you get to a well-known section that everyone seems very fixated on, which is the Wooroloo Brook Creek crossing. I saw some videos of this on the weekend, and basically it was ankle deep, so it was quite tame. But I have been through there, and it's been mid-thigh deep. Okay, so it can be reasonably fast flowing. The faster that's flowing, the more serious we take it. We normally have people there with sort of surf life-saving equipment, like us, or just people there that if you do lose footing and need a bit of help, that we can out there. But we've never had to do that. I have seen someone try and cross there with plastic bags around their shoes, which was an absolute disaster. I do not recommend that for flowing water. I think if it was a stagnant creek, not flowing, then you could probably get away with it. But basically what happened was those bags acted as like just sails, and they were just getting drifted downstream. And we do have footage somewhere. I'll have to dig it out. But yeah, so that's a cool section there. Yeah, and by that stage, you're about 18 kilometers into the course. So now you sort of go, oh, I'll probably fast tracked it through that a little bit. We'll probably go backwards. But so you're going to go up quite a decent descent after that section. So you just done the creek crossing, and then this is a notable climb. There's a Strava section called Ice to Fire, so you will notice that. Then we follow the ridge line across. This is all pretty open fire trail. This bit here is quite gradual incline. You'll just feel like it goes on for quite some time, but it's fairly easy. Make sure you don't miss a left-hand turn up here. Again, we mark super heavy. We have like red and white tape across most sections that aren't sections that you should go in. Black and white signs. We have pink flagging tape. We have night reflective stuff all going there, and we have about probably 2,000 of them out in course. So yeah, hopefully you do not miss these turns. But if you do get to a point where you hit Ewing Road, you have missed the turn back and come back to the trail. You really shouldn't go too far without seeing a bit of flagging tape. Now you eventually get out to this section here, the John Forrest Survey Monument. I really love this section again. It opens up, you get a really cool view of the valley from where you've just come. But if you look to your right, and you can sort of see it in the background here of this footage, there is a really cool open valley looking back all the way through to pretty much 2J. So that's where you're going, which might freak you out a little bit. These monuments at the end are really like giant cans that identify survey markers from back in the day when they first went through and surveyed this region, which is pretty cool. So there's a bit of history there. Then you come back through and you are now heading to Aid Station 2. So you're about 26 kilometers of the course now, and you've already done over 1,000 meters of climbing. So there's a big bulk of the climbing done. This is inside Peruna Wildlife Sanctuary, which is a part of Australian Wildlife Conservancy's property envelopes. They do a really cool job at protecting the region and sort of keeping feral cats and stuff like that out of there. So there's a better chance for native fauna to thrive and not become endangered or extinct. We are also encouraging everyone to do a fundraising campaign to help these guys out, to continue to do their missions. They're very important because they're linking Wyunga National Park through to Avon Valley National Park. So without them, there wouldn't be a passage for the wildlife to cruise through. But yeah, if everyone can sort of try and do something like raise $20, and if we have 500 people do that, it obviously makes a big difference. From here, you start to enter Step City. Okay, so Peruna, a number of ups and downs with quite large steps. They will highlight to you like the kind of steps that you'll be seeing. They're not like close steps. You might have to take 2 steps between, or they vary in size a little bit. And there is quite a few punchy up and down valleys inside Peruna. But with the difficulty, you really do get rewarded with the beauty. It's probably one of the more picturesque sections because it sort of gets a lot more of the valley views than other sections. And it's just a little bit unique and special being inside some private grounds. Beyond here, we sort of start to flow on to another sort of unique setting. We've got the Nissen Hut, which is the Aid Station 3. So there's like a half dome sort of building there that we use as the quarters for all the aid station foods and whatnot. Yeah, and all these aid stations, 2s and 3s, will have extensive range of slices and lollies. Like we literally go to town on lollies. I think we've got over 100 kilos worth of lollies or something this year, which is ludicrous. And they're like all the nostalgic lollies from your childhood. So hopefully you guys will be excited to do that. Please eat them. Otherwise, I'll have to eat them and get diabetes afterwards. So yeah, there's hot foods at ages 2 and 4. There's heaps of chips. There'll be Red Bull, Coke, Pasito, Tailwind, mandarin flavor, water, and all sorts. So you definitely won't go hungry or thirsty at any of these aid stations, and there's no reason to bonk out on course. Yeah, so what I should have mentioned is that the prior aid station, sorry, I just got in such a flow of talking, is actually where the 40K hike starts from and also the 40K run. They are both kicking off at 7:30 a.m. We've combined their start times. And yeah, they've obviously straight up into Peruna. So it is a pretty solid start, but as I said, you get rewarded with the views. And it's a nice time of the day to be out there sort of exploring, like as the sun sort of rises. Now you get to the Aid Station 3, and this is going to be a massive zone this year. We've introduced for the first time ever the 28-kilometer distance, and it's been great to see so many females sign up to that. 75% of this field is females, and we've got around about 200 participants, which is pretty cool. These stations are also, or all the stations are changeover points for the teams as well, so they will be changing in and out as the day goes along. So with here, the 28K guys are going to start, and you get granted with a nice downhill. Okay, there's actually more descending in the 28K than ascending, so I think that's quite unique. I don't think that's the case for any of the other distances. So they go down a nice little decline. There is potentially, again, it depends on conditions, but in this valley here, there is a little creek that you might have to get your toes wet. Normally you can step on a couple rocks and jump on some logs, but it also doesn't tend to be fast flowing, so it might even just be sort of still water. Then yeah, there's a couple little ups and downs, and eventually you're going to get now down towards the railway. Okay, so this will be the first time you sort of spend a bit of time along the railway, and this is where the 28K is not a bad little introduction to Transcend, because it does tend to be a bit straighter. The course is a little bit wider. It still has some rocky terrain that, you know, will require you to concentrate on where you're placing your feet. But yeah, you're going to follow that along quite some time. Okay. Again, it's quite nice from this sort of point. You can hear the river flowing through the rapids. You see the occasional train heading out to Kalgoorlie or other places even further, and you just follow this along with the occasional ups and downs. Now, this does look fairly flat on the elevation profile, and everyone gets to the end and asks me where was the flat bit. So it's not dead flat. It's not like you're running a road marathon. It's just flatter in perspective to the rest of the course. Okay, so yeah, I won't get your hopes up thinking that that's deadpan flat. So you actually go through some other grounds like Stronghills, which is a part of Guildford Grammar. So ignore them. We're not stopping there. You're going to keep flowing through all the way along here, and to eventually we're sort of around about 45K mark now. So yeah, like I said, you're sort of fairly close to the rail for quite some time. Keep following this along until eventually you get to a section what we call the goat track. There is actually another little, when you get to those campgrounds I was talking about, the Stronghill ones, there is another little section there that, again, really depends on the amount of rain we've had. Can sometimes have water that you have to cross. So yeah, I wouldn't get too caught up in this race with changing shoes and trying to keep feet dry. I feel like that is on a wet course, it's a myth. You might as well just keep running and just make sure you got your shoes done up nicely and you're not getting too much foot movement, which is going to be actually the real cause of blisters. So as you can see, this is quite a long section. So by now we've crossed into Avon Valley National Park, which is quite a large national park. And over to the left, you'll see some open fields, which is Moondine Reserve, which is a really nice region that has like a convention center and whatnot. We don't obviously go over to that space, but it is cool to see a break up in the scenery and see some nice green grass fields. So here we have the goat track. So we'll just do a quick little fly through to there. So this goat track is definitely something of note. It's actually not really that long, but it will throw you a rhythm. So when you hit through here, it isn't necessarily a trail. Like when we say goat track, it's sort of like something that animals would normally go through and repetitively and sort of start to make a trail. We follow their line through this section because there isn't really a trail. It just sort of oddly stops and then restarts again on the other side of this. But it adds to a bit of adventure. It's really marked quite heavily because we want to make sure people are comfortable with going through there. It has some ups and downs. You'll be ducking under some branches, maybe climbing over some branches. As I said, it's pretty short-lived, and by the time you get out the other side, you can be much pleased that you're only a K max from the aid station, so you're super close. Okay, so you come through here to aid station 4, which is the last official aid station. So there's no actual race that starts from this one, but your team members will be here, and your support crew and teammates actually won't be able to drive down to that aid station. This road that we're following now on the map will go to this airstrip here. So this is an old airstrip from back in, I think, World War II days that has been sort of left open. We use this as a giant car park, and we relay people down in vans. So we'll have 2 vans rolling through this year. I think last year we transported something like 350 or 400 people down to that aid station. So please be patient, and please let the athletes be priority. But the reason being is that we would very quickly overwhelm the car park down at the bottom, and it's a very narrow road, and it just all gets very problematic. We need to make sure that that space is accessible for any sort of emergency support that we might need, or any key sort of personnel. So yeah, if you guys can all respect that, that'd be much appreciated. Okay, so then we kick off out of here and we head to a well-known section, what we call the King of the Mountain. So yeah, the trail leading into this section isn't anything too crazy, a few more ups and downs. Again, it's still pretty close to the rail, but then you kick right. And this is a 3.13 kilometer section of road, not sealed, but gravel, has about 200 meters of vertical gain, an average of 5.5%. And it's one of those climbs where you just think that you've done it, and then it kicks left, and then you think you've done it again, and then it kicks right, and then you eventually get to the top. When you finally get to the top of this is actually the highest point of the whole race. So you won't go any higher than this. Doesn't mean you won't go up again in the race, though. You still do. So you get to the top here, and at the top here we're going to have a tree planting zone here this year. So we're doing a part of our tree planting on this property, up here, which is Emerald Farms WA, one of the sponsors. They've really been super helpful in getting behind this sort of green initiative, and they've also built you a ladder this year, like an actual wood ladder rather than our shonky metal ladders. So you'll be able to climb their fence, and if you want to plant a tree there and then, you can plant a tree there and then, but there will be some people just actually planting some trees for us for the idea of going. And why we do this is we don't give out medals at Transcend. We don't want to give out material items that just end up in drawers and sort of don't really have a hell of a lot of purpose. We would rather give back to the land with our give, gain, grow philosophy, and have a tree planted and be there for future generations, and make sure these events are doing sort of a sustainable sort of approach. Cool. So we go past that. Now, yeah, so there is a little video there to get an idea of what the ladders might look like and so on. Then you simply just follow their paddock, and we cross into what we call another sort of Techy Descent. This is really cool zone, and when you hit this fence, I'm pretty sure there's only about 5Ks left, so you know you're getting close. You've got a lot already in the bank behind you, and you can let go a little bit and enjoy some Techy Descent. And hopefully when you get down to the bottom there, we have like a bit of a surprise aid station. Spoiler alert, I'll let it out now, but we sort of don't really advertise it, but we have like some food and drink at the bottom there, with about 3Ks to go. We call it aid station 4.5. So hopefully we'll have a couple of people there to do that. We don't actually run that necessarily the whole day. That's sort of why we don't advertise it. It's sort of a bit more there for the 6K, but you guys are also welcome to utilize it if you're coming through, and we have some crew there. Now, so that is actually an important point to note, that the 6K, this is where they start at our Finnish Village, and they do a unique 3K out to this corner, which is sort of a bit of a nice intro to the 6K course. But when they hit this corner and they turn right after the little support station, they are now joining the 65K guys, the 40K guys, and the 28K guys, all on their journey through to the finish line. Okay, so they basically kick up a little incline here. Again, there is another little creek crossing. It depends on how much rain we've had and so on. There is a few ways to rock hop across and whatnot, but yeah, you might get your feet wet, and then you continue your way through here. Now, there is a little video here called The Final Ascent. It's a lie. It's not really the final ascent. It's probably the second last ascent, but it is a bit more of a rock scramble. So it is very short, though. Like, we're talking about probably 30 to 40 meters of, like, you just have to take a bit of care through there. It's a bit of a novelty. We do have an easy route around this, so it is a little bit optional. Okay. So you. Yeah, the extra blue line there is just that the course tends to deviate very slightly from year to year, and it's just like a GPX file that is slightly different. Yeah. So there's probably 10, 20 meters between those lines. So yep. So then we cruise across the top there, and you hopefully by this stage will be able to start hearing us, who are making a ruckus at the Finnish Village, having some beats and some lights, depending on what time of day or night that you're finishing. But yeah, if it's nighttime, you might be able to see some searchlights up in the sky. You head down towards the perimeter of the property, and then you basically start to swing around and head your way up to our Finnish Village. So as I said, the Finnish Village does have a bit of a slight incline there. Oops. But we have heaps of resources here. At the Finnish Village, we have food vans. So we have dirty burgers and chips. We'll have health food and shakes. We'll have a coffee van. We've got Rocky Ridge Brewing beers there. We've got Rome Distillery gin. We have, we've got an expo like that have different service providers like Transcend Trails, where we are today. They have a great little stall set up for you guys to check out at the end. And we have Mamas and Papas Marsupials, Velotudo Fitness and Physio. We have Tarkine Athletics. There's a number more that will also be putting on some kids initiatives. Like we'll have lots of games like Legos and colouring comps, giant Jengas, Connect 4, all sorts of things to hopefully keep the kids entertained, because the most important race of the whole day is the Kids Dash, which also kicks off at the Finnish Village. We have a shorter and a longer option. We encourage you guys to sign up the kids now, so then they get personalised bibs. Don't leave it till on the day. And they obviously get some nice little goodie bags at the finish, which they're all pretty pumped about. And we've got the Manning Park crew organising that for us this year, who are a bunch of legends. So yeah, there'll be heaps going on here. There's live music. We have DJ, guitarist. We're going to have a sax player later. We make a really big scene about the final finishes. We have between 6 and 8 p.m. the music dials up. The party lights come on, everyone jumps in onesies, we have chainsaws, and we chase the last runners up to the finish line, which is always the funnest part of the whole event. So make sure you don't get on that early bus. I highly encourage hanging around for the 8:30 bus and being a part of that. Or book yourself a glamping tent and hang around for the night, or book some local accommodation and hang around, have some beers. Have some food, enjoy some music, cheer on the final finishes, check out the expos, yeah, there's heaps of good stuff to keep you entertained. We have hot showers there. And I should mention, for all the aid stations and the Finnish Village, we have drop bags. You can drop them off at the night before at the mandatory opening ceremony, where you guys will have to go to get your packs, your trackers, and whatnot. But yeah, take all your drop bags there. Make sure they're in a proper sort of Coles, Woolworths shopping bag with the zips on them. They're the best thing, clearly labelled. Bib numbers will come out closer to the event. We just need everyone to finish signing up before we release those. So they typically come out around about 2 weeks out. We're only about 4 and a bit weeks now. And yeah, that's pretty much the ins and outs of Transcend Trails. I've talked a lot. Would love to hear some questions. Wayno, was there many in the chat?
Nothing that hasn't been answered.
Yeah.
And the final couple we just think that you spoke about just then anyway. So.
Yeah, cool. Just as well, while we're at it, on that website, under the event tabs, the 65K course. So I just showed you this map up here, but we also have uploaded a Strava version. If you hit play here, this also gives you like a run through the whole course. It's not as descriptive. It doesn't show you the aid stations and whatnot, but some people just like Strava. So that is a thing that you can follow along. It does probably link up the elevation profile a bit easier, and you can sort of toggle along and see at what distance, what elevation you're sort of facing there. You can send this to your device or on Strava. If you're thinking, I'm not doing the full 65K, I'm doing the 40, the 28, or the 6 or whatnot, in the event program, there is links in there to download GPX files for all the other distances, and we have pretty good maps and details all in there. We also have like a full course sort of breakdown of where aid stations are. This also shows where the different color rings are, where the 40 and the 28 start. And we have like the double echidna is like the fastest team time, fastest male time, fastest female time, what the cutoff is for that aid station, what sort of distances and amount of elevation to expect for each leg. And we do have event-specific ones on each event-specific page on the actual website, so check them out. And we have flagged where a few of like the expected sort of or potential water crossings are. We then also have videos on each leg, so if you want to specifically see which each leg and watch a video. And again, as I said, leg 2, leg 1 and leg 2 are obviously 65K specific, but here we've clearly highlighted that this is for the 40-kilometer run or hike. That's where you would start from there, and so on for the 28K hike or run. And we've tried to give you a bit more of a written description. Then, if you can't seem to work out Terranaut maps and where all those little videos are, if you keep scrolling down, all the videos are actually here, clearly sort of like spaced out, and there's a couple other bonus ones on 2J there. So I think you guys should be well and truly equipped with every sort of map and piece of information, hopefully, that you should need. But yeah, so to the floor here in Tribe and Trail, is there any questions from any of you guys?
What part of the trail is on private property?
Yeah, so at the moment, like leg 1 and 2 are all sort of public land. So, you know, the GPX files are at your disposal. You guys can go and explore those. Leg 3, which is within Peruna, you guys are more than welcome to actually go onto their website, buy the $11 pass to go in there and start exploring and checking out the trails. Then leg 4, we would ask that you don't do that, just because that goes into the back of Peruna, which technically isn't like their trails that they get people to do, and they would preferably not have to not rescuing people at the back, where it's just a little bit more difficult. And Stronghills is a private zone as well, so let's stay out of there. Then you get into the Avon Valley, region. So what you could potentially do there is go drive yourself down to Valley Campground, and you could do some mountain back runs. So you could run towards aid station 3, and then you eventually get to a fence that says private property. You stop there, you turn around, which is still a pretty decent run from the top of my mind. I think it's going to be probably 16-20k if you do as a mountain back, and then you'll get a taste of the goat trail and stuff like that. And then you could also, from that same campground, go out towards the Finnish Village and run up the King of the Mountain all the way to the fence where the ladder's going to be. Stop there because that's private property, and then come back and do that as a little session as well, which again is probably going to be a 12-15k sort of run, just at a guess. So yeah, and then everything else beyond that is definitely private property. It's a number of private farms. That's a good question. Yes.
Will there be food at the opening ceremony then?
Yes. So the opening ceremony will have 2 food vans there. We're going to have pizzas, which were amazing last year. And we've got the same health food van and shake van that was that's going to be at the Finnish Village. Apple Seeds and Ivy, Sarah. She's doing both, which would be pretty cool. Yep. Anything else? Yep.
Just also another way to
Yep.
information. Just with the starting points for the other legs, say whether like
Yep.
it's the 40, 28, whatever. The drop-off zone, if you're not taking the transport,
Yep.
like you're getting dropped off.
If you're getting dropped off, yeah. So the question is basically what's it like getting to the start lines of the 28k and the 40k? So obviously we do have bus options. We would love lots of people to catch the buses if possible and reduce congestion there. It's only $15 a bus ticket to get there, but yeah, it's more than fine to get dropped off. These zones should flow okay. Like the 40k doesn't have crazy numbers. We're going to see probably a bit over 100 people in that event, and some people are catching the bus, but it does start to get close to teams coming in, sort of thing. But you guys should be there hopefully well and truly before the teams come through. So yeah, you should be fine to driving out there. Aid Station 3, which is a 28k start, which is only about 8 minutes from the 40k start, is we've got a second car park there this year inside the fence. So inside the fence will be for people who are looking to come and go that particular time. If people are looking to leave their car for a bit more of an extended period, we'll be allocating you to the car park that we used last year, which is outside of the fence. So if you need to come back and get your car, you can actually get to it. But again, we've widened that road there, so it's pretty much two-way majority of it, or there's going to be heaps of passing points because that was a bit of a tight spot last year, the 28k. So but we've hopefully made heaps of improvements there that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Yeah. Any other questions from all?
Finish line parking, same place as last year, down the bottom.
Yeah, so finish line parking, we just literally got our approvals through this week, which was nice to finally get. So yes, that will be as last year. You'll park in the paddock opposite the road of the Finnish Village. There is a little bit of a walk up the hill, but it's just trail events. It's hard to avoid. Yeah, that's the nature of it.
And how do people drop down in their distance?
So if I've scared anyone here by going through details of hills and creeks and whatnot, you can definitely change your distances. We can drop them down. And if I've excited anyone and you feel like you're missing out on some of the earlier sections, you can contact us and we can try and increase your distance as well. So yeah, all options. Just send us an email at gobeyond@transcendtrails.com. Just be patient with us. We are a small team, but we will get to it when we can. Excellent. Anything else in the chat? No other questions? Awesome. Well, thanks to Tribe and Trail for hosting us. Sorry all for that not being as clean as I would have liked on the screen there. But yes, there's technical difficulties. Yeah, okay. We'll see you all on the 6th or 15th of August at the opening ceremony at Swan Valley Adventure Centre. Cheers.
Thank you.